Hey there, Michael Church, Crawlspace Ninja and Basement Ninja. And today, when we go into crawl spaces, we see all the time where people keep stuff stored in their crawl space. And today I want to talk to you about 11 things that you should consider not storing in your crawl space. Stay tuned. Okay, so if you think about a crawl space, now, if you're encapsulating the crawl space, then typically you're gonna control humidity and moisture and all that. But if you've got an open vented crawl space, here are some of the things you should never store in your crawl space. Number one is cardboard. We get into crawl spaces and we see where people have cardboard boxes everywhere inside the crawl space. They sit them directly on the plastic floods, high humidity, there's mold growing on the outside of the cardboard. Plus, as we've mentioned in several of our videos, brown recluse spiders seem to like cardboard pretty good. So number one thing is never put cardboard or store cardboard in your crawl space. Okay, another thing we see a lot of times in crawl spaces is paint. Any kind of paint or lacquer or varnish or anything like that should never be kept in the crawl space because it can off-gas, and all of that off-gassing can go up into the living space, okay? So you want to keep paints and any kind of solvents or anything like that out of your crawl space. Okay, so the third thing you should keep out of your crawl space is gasoline. You know, that gasoline, that 1 gallon or 5 gallon gasoline jug you got in there to use in your weed eater and your lawnmower and things like that. You certainly don't want the fumes of that gasoline going up into your crawl space. So keep all of that out of your crawl space. And speaking of that, the fourth thing you want to keep out of your crawl space is a lawnmower. I mean, think about it. It's got gasoline in it. Plus, you just mowed your lawn. You just got grass clippings all up in the undercarriage of that lawnmower. And what happens when grass dies? It becomes mold food. Okay, so if you've got a lawnmower stored under your home in an unconditioned space, whether it's conditioned or not, you don't want that mold growing on those grass clippings and then off-gassing and potentially creating a mold problem. So keep gasoline and lawnmowers out of your crawl space. Okay, so the fifth thing you want to keep out of your crawl space is firewood. We've seen kindling, firewood, any kind of wood really, even if it's like fir strips that you used in that basement remodel or, baseboard or anything like that. You don't want to store wood in a crawl space sitting on the ground because it can potentially be a mold problem if you get high humidity or a flood in the crawl space. Okay, so number 6 kind of goes with number 4. You want to keep any kind of propane tanks out of the crawl space because again, the seals on those tanks could leak, they rust, different things like that. So you want to keep those propane tanks and different things out of the crawl space. Okay, so number 7 is keep all of your art out of the crawl space. Any kind of pictures, any kind of canvases, paints, things like that are mold food, okay? So make sure you keep any kind of art. And number 8 would be any kind of personal photos. I don't know if you've ever, most people use digital cameras and things like that, so you don't really have a lot of things on personal photos, but if you've got old photos down in your crawl space and they get moist, they start to stick together and it ruins those photos. So you want to keep all of that out of the crawl space as well. Okay, so now we're up to number 9, and I want you to keep all of your clothes out of the crawl space. Again, fabrics and materials, comforters, bed sheets, any kind of linens, things like that should be kept in a dry place, okay? So make sure you keep those things out of your crawl space as well. All right, number 10 is gonna be your Christmas decorations, your holiday, your Halloween, we've got St. Patty's Day tomorrow, so any kind of different, this, depending on when this video is released, St. Patty's Day could have been yesterday or 2 days ago. So anyway, any kind of decorations that you have inside the crawl space normally is made of some kind of paper or plastic or wood or different things like that. So keep those out of the crawl space as well. Okay, so my last thing I want to talk about is old electronics, okay? So if you got any kind of electronics down there, make sure to keep those out of the crawl space as well. And if I forgot to mention something, that's going to be this week's answer to the question for our giveaway. If you're looking to win this month's giveaway, tell us what you have stored in your crawl space that I did not mention, and let's comment on that and see if that's a good idea to store that in your crawl space. If you insist on storing things in your crawl space, a couple of tips. Number one, you always want to make sure you keep any kind of standing water out of the crawl space. Okay, and secondly, you also want to control humidity and make sure you don't have any mold. So if you have mold in the crawl space, keep in mind that that mold can transfer from the crawl space to whatever you're storing down there. Okay, so if you store things down there, let's say you store your Christmas tree, your ornaments, things like that, in a moldy crawl space, and then you go down there after Thanksgiving and get all that stuff out and take it up to your house, you just you potentially transferred that mold from the crawl space into the living space. So I know it's very likely that you want to store things. I mean, after all, some of you probably have crawl spaces that are 6 to 8 feet tall, and you're like, why not store stuff in here? If you're going to store stuff in your crawl space, again, make sure you control standing water and humidity, and also put items in some kind of weatherproof material, perhaps a locking plastic or something like that, that can keep the moisture out away from those items that you're storing. So my name is Michael Church with Crawlspace Ninja. Again, make sure you check out and answer our question down below about what do you store in your crawl space. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be entered to win this month's giveaway. And if you need any service, let us know down below. I'm going to put a link down below. My name is Michael Church, Crawlspace Ninja and Basement Ninja. Hope you make it a happy and blessed day, and we'll see you later.